Hello everybody, this is Mong004 and welcome back to my channel, and today we will be doing a review discussion video of Modern Warfare 2 2022's campaign. Now this review discussion video is just simply my own subjective opinion, so I'm not giving scores, and no, this is not telling you whether you should buy or not buy, it's just simply my own subjective opinion, and that's it. If you do go on to like this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, hit the notification bell to be notified the next time I publish a video, and please hit me up in the comment section and let me know what you think, give me your own opinion about the game. This way we can just simply have a discussion together constructively. At the same time, while you're here, check out my other videos. I do make a variety of different gaming videos, and that's because I do play a variety of different games. Also, if you can share this video on your socials, I'd very much appreciate it. And now, let's see what Modern Warfare 2 2022's campaign has to offer. The story starts off in Al Mazrah, with the character Ghost overlooking a little terrorist get-together. And here we find General Cabrani. You know that guy from Modern Warfare 2019 with the very weird-looking eyes?
Our war is not for our fate.
Yeah, he's got a problem. Ultimately, you're tasked with guiding a missile straight to the terrorist gathering and blowing them to pieces. And this is where the game lets us know that we're playing Modern Warfare 2. It actually lets us know twice because it's in big letters and in small letters. Several months later, I don't know what several months mean. It could be 7 months, 4 months, 5 months, who the heck knows. But we meet up with Laswell, who's actually speaking to General Shepard about a terrorist named Hassan Zyani. He also speaks about how they might be at the edge of war.
Are we at war?
You would be the first to know, sir.
Damn right I would. Talk to me.
By the way, Laswell's also from the first game, just in case you forgot about that. That's when Laswell asks, who do we send? Which, heck man, you know who the heck we're gonna send? This is when we get a good look at Ghost and Sergeant Soap, which Soap is all about, man, we gotta get a win. In Al Mazrah, in the dead of the night, Ghost and Soap go off looking for Hassan. However, on their way there, their friends get shot down by some missiles.
We're going down! We're going down!
And then they have to go through a bunch of houses to actually try to save them. We even got ourselves a hammer and we're breaching through doorways and letting them have it. Taking down bad guys, sneaking around corners, fighting side by side with our buddies and being the Call of Duty badasses we were all born to be, cause you know it, heck yeah. Ultimately shooting people who are running out of freaking corners carrying grenades.
Moving in, first deck.
We also have to deal with people jumping out of trap doors in the floor. I hate it when they freaking do that. Freaking hate it. After finding our friends in a downed chopper, we eventually have to defend the chopper from an onslaught of enemies, sniping them out because they're coming from all over the place. So we're pretty much held down here trying to defend our friends until we can get some proper air support so we can hurry up and get the heck out of here because these people are ferociously coming after us. We eventually move forward, make our way through another house, and then ultimately find ourselves inside of a facility. After gunning down enough of the guys in there, we eventually look inside of a big container and find ourselves a missile with some American marks on it.
Tell me you found Hassan.
Ghost. Take a look at this.
It's discovered at this point that Iran is in possession of American missiles. Not to mention it actually says it right there in subtitles. And that's when Laswell comes up with the idea of getting in contact with Captain Price and Gaz. Also from Modern Warfare 2019, just in case you forgot that too. This is a sequel, people. And this is when we head into Amsterdam, where we have to pull a couple guys into the water, shoot a couple guys off of some boats, head onto a bigger boat, and shoot a bunch of guys inside of the boat. I even somehow took out these two guys by meleeing their feet below the pier. I don't know how that happened, but man, these guys need to wear stronger shoes. Maybe some like steel toe ones or something, because whatever shoes or boots they're wearing is not enough protection. We even killed this guy that was inside of the shower. Man, you know what? We treat this guy really bad. But at least we can take his phone though. So I guess that's a plus.
Cartel's meeting with AQ.
However, Amsterdam mornings must be more exciting. In the morning, we give a guy a stomach ache, beat up some guys in an alleyway, watch Captain Price smack somebody right upside the head,
Shut your mouth. Follow me.
and then have a small little shootout on the street. And then we drive away in our little getaway car, and that's it for Amsterdam, because we pretty much didn't do much else here outside of that. After all that goodness, we get in contact with a guy called Alejandro Vargas, and we head to the Mexican border. With Alejandro, we jump out of a couple of boats, shoot a couple people at the border wall, climb over the border wall, and get a good look at the skyline. Look at that, that is so darn beautiful. Heck yeah. We end up hopping some fences and going into the back of people's yards, and to be honest, we're actually being kind of rude.
Hey! What the hell are you doing?
Stay inside. Vamos.
You're in my yard, asshole!
And even most of the neighbors know we're being kind of rude.
Hey! Get the fuck out of my yard!
We invade a little bit more private property, just getting on the neighbors' nerves, and eventually the cops are called to the point that we have to surrender to the cops.
And step forward to me! I want to see empty hands above your head!
And they're all kind of cool with us when they find out that we're actually on their side.
I'm Colonel Alejandro Vargas of Special Forces. We're after a known terrorist.
Gomez, hold up.
Until a rocket launcher comes out of nowhere and blasts us almost to freaking pieces.
We tracked them to the house.
We end up in a little firefight, and then we have to head into this house to actually try to find Hassan. Well, we eventually find Hassan, all right, and this guy is such a wonderful, sweet guy that he knocks us to the ground and leaves us to burn alive inside of the house.
No. Let him burn, as Gobrani burned.
Well, thankfully, Alejandro shows up, picks us up, and pulls us out of the house, and we get to live. Laswell informs us that the Mexican forces know that Hassan is moving some sizable packages towards the US, but they don't know how much or what it is. They know at this point they really have to catch Hassan and interrogate him, so they send Ghost and Soap to work with Alejandro and the Mexican Special Forces. We'll also be working with a character named Philip Graves and Shadow Company. Why do they have to be called Shadow Company? I mean, it's really sunshiny out here, so I guess they find a shadow to stand in or so. Whatever, man, I'm getting too technical about it. Just forget it. So on to Las Almas we go. And Las Almas is actually a very beautiful place. I mean, Alejandro lets us know that this place has some bad history and some bad things going on.
Well, Las Almas has a very serious problem. There are few here to uphold the law, and many of those who resist corruption disappear.
But it's a beautiful place nonetheless. So we make our way through a small town, taking out enemies back and forth. And yup, we're still going through people's houses and stuff. I'm telling you, man, we just do not care. We're a bunch of badasses. And we're rude at the same time. It's wonderful. I'm telling you. We end up dealing with an onslaught of enemies that come in some tanker trucks with some shields and some darn crazy armored vests. We do a little bit of mountain climbing, which is about as dangerous as it gets. Oh my God, I have to jump across this darn thing. We get to swim through some water while being shot at and trying to hide from some rocks. And plus they let you know that, hey, you need to hide behind the rocks.
Use your rocks for cover!
We get to blow up a bridge, which that's all beautiful to look at. I mean, who doesn't like blowing up bridges?
All stations, no enemy movement detected. You're clear.
Then we hop in a vehicle and roll out, even though we still haven't caught Hassan yet. Now it's Philip Graves, and he gives us a speech about Mexican forces being our brothers now, and they're like family.
Mexican Special Forces, 141, they are your brothers now. Treat them like your own. And let's get this done, yeah? Yeah. All right.
Okay, thank you, buddy. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We're now on an aerial mission, which now we get to shoot down from the sky, taking out bad guys, blowing up greenhouses, trying to make sure we do not kill this woman and her son. I don't know if that's her son. I don't know. But anyway, we're pretty much taking out these bad guys throughout an entire mission, even taking out vehicles and trying to get our team out of there. And finally, we've caught Hassan.
Handle it.
Who the fuck are you? Mexican Special Forces. You're coming with us.
Jackpot. I say again, jackpot. Target is secure.
Now that's just the beginning of the campaign. I'm not going to walk through the entire campaign or anything like that, but I think it starts off pretty good. And it really does actually help to pace the campaign, because I do think the campaign is well paced for the most part. There are some downsides to some of that, but it's really down to the mission design. Modern Warfare 2 2022's campaign is your usual Call of Duty affair. You have your running and gunning and taking out troops mission just like I showed. You have your aerial thermal mission just like I showed a second ago. You even have your stealth missions where you have to sneak around and take out enemies. You even have a mission that is very similar to All Gillied Up, called Recon by Fire, where you're pretty much crawling through the grass and waiting for people to pass while you're crawling through the grass. So much reminds me of that old COD 4 mission. Now, out of all of these missions, there are some of the missions that I really liked, and I think most of them were pretty good, and some of them weren't all that good. Let's go through the ones that I really liked first. Killer Capture is definitely one of my favorite missions. It's the first mission in the game after that entire missile guiding thing, and you get to use the night vision goggles, going through the fields, and then moving around throughout the houses and taking out the bad guys one at a time, and then dealing with the down chopper where your friends are inside, so you have to snipe all the guys coming in. I really found that mission to be a whole lot of fun. And then eventually moving in on that other big house where supposedly they didn't want to level the house. I mean,
7-6, hit that building, don't level it.
Kilo 01, call for fire. Target is in the building ahead of us. Do not level the building.
I say level the freaking house. I don't care who the heck is inside of there. But yeah, I really liked that mission. Another mission I really liked was Violence and Timing, which is pretty much a mission where it's like a chase mission where you're actually following this entire convoy down the road. And you first start off in a chopper where you're shooting down at the bad guys, but eventually you're down the road and you're driving the vehicles and you get to lean out the vehicles and shoot at the bad guys. And you're seeing the vehicles blow up and then you hop from like one vehicle to another. Like this mission, I really loved it. Like I actually went back and played this mission again and I just absolutely loved that mission. Just the speed of the mission and the overall combat versatility just felt so darn good to play. So yeah, like I said, I really, really loved Violence and Timing. Very great mission. Now when it comes to some of the missions that I didn't like, Recon by Fire is definitely one of them, or what I'd like to call All Gillied Up 2, because, you know, you're in the ghillie suits and all that stuff, and I just was not a fan of this mission through and through. First, the mission starts off really slow, and I know All Gillied Up does too, but that's actually not one of my favorite COD missions from COD 4. But this mission, it just starts off really slow. You're walking really slow, then you're crawling really slow, then you're laying there and you're watching these people walk past you. And then when you finally get a little bit of action, a little bit later on, you have to snipe on the guys at the distance, which I'm not going to say that's hard, but I just found it boring. For me, it just didn't get interesting until you got into the complex where they're holding, you know, the drugs and all the weapons and stuff like that. It got a little interesting there, but I just wasn't a fan of this mission. I just felt it to be boring and just not to my taste. It was just too darn slow.
He's alerted, one down.
The second worst mission for me was the Amsterdam mission Tradecraft. Now the mission that came before it, the one that was at night where you're in the water by the docks and you have to pull the guys in the water and deal with the guys in the boats, I didn't have as much of a problem with that. But the second mission, which happens in the daytime, an hour after that last mission, Wet Works, I just thought first and foremost was way too short. And when you look at the environment, it's well built. It's a beautiful environment. I figured there'd be a lot more to it. But all you do is just get the first guy in the gut near the bench, go further down, meet up with Laszlo, then go to the little picnic table at the cafe and meet up with Price so he can hand you the little trick grenade, throw that into the dumpster, then you beat up a couple of guys in an alley, then you see him, like I said earlier, beat somebody upside the head.
Shut your mouth.
You shoot and fight with, about 5 people at the most? You eventually go over and hit the guy in the shoulder with the same thing you zapped the guy in the stomach with before, and then you head off in the vehicle to go off. I just felt that mission was way too short, and it seemed like it was building up to be a lot more, but that was it. I mean, maybe it shows the professionalism of the people that you're working with, that they can do it really quick, but that's a beautiful scene. I wish there was a lot more going on in it, so it just wasn't one of my favorite missions. Another thing I wanted to mention about Modern Warfare 2 2022 was the characters. I have to say, I loved every character in this game. Whether we're talking about Philip Graves, Ghost, Sergeant Soap McTavish, Captain Price, because he's back with that Fisher hat that he has on, Shepard, even Laszlo. Great characters, but even some new characters that actually came into the picture, like Alejandro. Alejandro's got to be one of my new favorite characters, and I really like his story throughout this game. And I do hope he is in the next freaking Call of Duty game, because I just really love his character. I love the way they paced him, and I loved how they kind of tricked you about what his intentions were. Really great. There's also the addition of the character Valeria, which is one of the cartel leaders, which I really like her place in the story too. She's a really good villain, and I like the way she carries herself and the way she comes across as a very threatening presence. Really well done. There's even some returns of some of those older characters like Laszlo I mentioned earlier, but even Farah makes a return. She returns for a short period of time in Violence and Timing, but it was really great to see her, and really great to see her riding in on that bike and playing the part that she always plays, a big badass. I really love these characters, and I think that their interaction and dialogue between each other, I think is very well written, and like I said before, just very well done. Especially this one piece of dialogue between Ghost and Sergeant Soap. Like, this dialogue was just funny to me.
You're gonna owe me for this.
Why?
We're fixing each other's problems.
What's my problem?
The mask. Take it off.
Show my face.
Yes, sir.
Negative.
Are you ugly?
Quite the opposite.
I doubt that.
Now, although I did like some of that dialogue, I did find these dialogue choices that would come up in the middle of missions to be a little bit annoying. I mean, maybe just that one I just liked, but the rest of them, I just felt they got in the way. They were unnecessary. They could have just simply had some basic back and forth without me having to choose what to ask or what to say. And I don't know, I just wasn't a big fan of that.
Nope. Tastes like dog piss.
I'll take your word for it.
Got a tactical use for dog piss.
Wolf.
Then there's, of course, the difficulty or the basic mechanics of the game. Now, I have to say, this game is like a mixed bag when it comes to the difficulty. I actually played the game on Hardened difficulty because I like playing COD games on Hardened difficulty. I want more of a challenge. And there are times that this felt like a difference between regular and veteran. One of the things that makes this game feel like you're playing it on regular is because some of the enemy AI is just absolutely stupid and makes no goddamn sense. Not to mention you can kill some of them with just simply a few rounds. However, one of the reasons why it feels more difficult is because of the armored enemies. I mean, these enemies with the armor on, they have so much freaking armor and it takes so much to kill them that it is ridiculous. I've actually seen Blame Truth's videos where he talks about how NASA must have built the doors in Modern Warfare 2019. And I'm starting to think that they obviously extended their contract, except now they're building the armor on these freaking enemies. Because my God, sometimes you have to unload an entire clip or even more to break their darn armor. And a lot of them don't even flinch or do nothing until you break the armor. I don't think it's too hard, but I felt it was kind of ridiculous. Like half the darn time it felt like I was fighting a mix between a Call of Duty character and a boss from freaking Destiny because it didn't make any darn sense. And it wasn't just their body armor, even their helmets were just ridiculously resilient. Like how many rounds to a helmet do you need to finally break it? It's ridiculous. Now, when it comes to the graphics of the game, I think the game looks really great. It's a beautiful looking game. However, I don't necessarily find it to be a significant or extreme step up from Modern Warfare 2019's graphics. And if anything, that's more of a compliment to Modern Warfare 2019. Even if it was a last generation game, that just really goes to show exactly how great that game looked when you compare it to the current generation of games. It just was a great looking game for its time. Yeah, there's a few extra bells and whistles here and there that make this game look a little bit better. I think that they get some of the animations a little bit better, and I think some of the spectacle aspects are a little bit better here and there, but I just don't necessarily find it to be that much better looking than Modern Warfare 2019 that I think it really blows it out of the water. It's just more so subtle differences, especially when it comes to like the animation of some of the characters and some of the things in the environment. That is where I think it takes a slight step ahead of Modern Warfare 2019. So it's a beautiful looking game. I just don't think it's that far ahead of its predecessor.
Stop this vessel, yep! Arguing forward! Take the ramp! Hold tight, Sergeant! Let's have ourselves a gunfight!
The last thing I want to talk about is some of the glitches that I ran into. And some of them weren't all that bad, but some of them were pretty ridiculous. One glitch that I ran into that was quite frequent was a glitch that if I died, once I actually restarted, for some reason the frame rate would drop to almost freezing, then it would slowly speed back up to the frame rate that I was normally having. Which there was no reason for this to be happening because my PC can more than handle this game, but for some reason it would happen and I did not like it. There was another small glitch that I had on the mission Kill or Capture when I'm running through the fields with my night vision goggles on, and as I'm running, my character for some reason starts frantically hopping up and down while I'm running. And there was nothing wrong with the terrain, and when I ran later on there was no issue, but for some reason it just happened a few times and I don't know what the heck was going on. Thankfully it didn't continue, but when it happened it was kind of weird looking. Another glitch that I had was when I was inside of the cartel mansion. In the mission El Sin Hombre, I actually came up behind the guy, meleeed him from behind, and for some reason I ended up between the wall and the elevator door in some crazy way, and I could see inside the elevator, but I was stuck there. And I'm looking around and I'm wondering what the heck just happened, and in order for me to get out of that entire section, I had to let somebody come and kill me. So although these glitches didn't ruin the experience for me, they were kind of stupid and they were kind of bothersome, and it kind of took me out of the experience a bit. For the most part, I liked Modern Warfare 2 2022. There was a few hitches with it, like take for instance, some of the boring levels like Recon by Fire. I just didn't really like that mission. And of course that wasted mission in Amsterdam that I felt was way too short. I don't even know why they added it to the game. But there were some inconsistencies that happened, like take for instance, 2 missions where you had to actually walk around, hunt and scavenge for different parts and build your own contraptions to make your way throughout the level. I actually liked it. I thought that was really neat. And I really wish that was actually something that was consistent throughout the rest of the game. But for some reason, there was only 2 chapters that had that. One in the middle of the game where you were soap and you had to do that, and then one all the way at the end of the game where you were soap and you had to do that. And I just wish that was something that you could do from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. I think it would have shook things up and would have really added more to the gameplay overall. And ultimately, it made it seem like some of that stuff was added in there for experimental reasons. There were also some decisions when it came to some of the characters in the story that I really didn't think made any sense, but overall, I did like Modern Warfare 2 2022's campaign. But that's just my take on Modern Warfare 2 2022. Perhaps all of you have an entirely different opinion, and hey, if you do, that's absolutely fine with me. That's what this is about. It's about me sharing my objective opinion and you sharing your objective opinion. Again, all these discussion videos are just simply about that, nothing more. So you don't have to like the game, you don't have to hate the game, and you don't have to buy the game, and if you want to, go right ahead. It's not about me telling you to do any of those things. But I hope all of you really like this video, and hey, if you do, please remember, hit that like button, please subscribe, hit the bell to be notified the next time I publish a video, and hit me up in the comments section and let me know what you think. It is great to get some constructive feedback. Let me know what you think about Modern Warfare 2 or even the multiplayer that you might be playing right now. But that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching it, and as always, until next time, this is Mong004 and I am out. Take care.